These are the complete interviews with the subjects for the documentary Encounters. The only editing performed on the footage are camera cuts, sound correction, and minor color corrections.
What'd y'all eat last night?
What?
What'd y'all eat last night?
Oh, we got this good fiery.
If y'all say something bad, I'm recording right now. Just letting y'all know.
Okay. That's
Hey.
fine.
That's fine. Put it on record.
Put it on the record. That's right. You can use it against each other.
Those fiery chicken nuggets.
Good though. They were actually fire.
Spicy ones?
Yeah.
There's yeah, fiery ones. They taste like hot Cheeto
No, they're not
chicken.
That's
nasty.
nasty.
No.
Oh,
Here.
okay.
All right. So here we go. I want to start with you, Curtis.
Okay.
Give me your name and do you approve to be on camera for this interview?
Okay. My name's Curtis, and yes, I don't mind being on camera.
My name's Tracy, and I agree with this interview.
Hi, my name's Hannah, and I agree with it.
Like,
Sorry.
say-
Yes. You can.
Already losing.
No, sorry. Yes. I agree.
All right. So I've kind of explained what Encounters is, and you've agreed to come to be in the interview here. So typically the way I start these interviews is kind of address the elephant in the room. We jump right into it.
Mhm.
What are we here for? Who wants to go first?
Well,
Me and you.
go ahead.
Okay. I was pushed. So it was a incident that we saw or encountered years ago. My mom probably is a little bit better on the dates. What would you say?
It's early December 2007.
December 2007.
We were coming from ice skating in, where is that? Near Alpine, in
California.
San Diego area, San Diego County.
Yeah, we were heading up to Guatai, back home, because it was about. Was it 7? Because it was kind of late.
It was dark.
Yeah, it was about.
Oh, it was winter time, so it was getting dark a little bit early. But we were driving. We had our cousins with us, and we were in our vehicle just driving down.
And it was up a mountain. Like, it goes like up a hill to Guatai, so we were driving up the mountain.
I saw the light, and it felt like, or not, it looked like a helicopter. Like a super bright light, like a helicopter.
A single light?
Yeah. And like there is an airport probably about 20, 30 miles away, but so it was just light. And so I pulled off the road because like, what is this coming towards us?
But mind you, there's like a bunch of other cars parked on the side of the,
Yeah, there was
the
other
road,
people
too.
who saw this, even though we've never been able to get a hold of it, but it was very silent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't hear anything.
Like while we were driving, we could see the light in the distance. It was abnormal. Like it was brighter than the North Star. So we were getting closer and closer, until we just noticed like it was just something off. Like a helicopter, could have been a low flying plane at that point. You know.
So in other words, you could tell it wasn't something that was a star. It
Yeah,
was something
for
that
sure.
Oh no, it
was more
was,
terrestrial.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely was an aircraft.
Because,
And so it was just there was some we drove off and we parked to the side of the road, and there was about 2 or 3 cars behind us
and ahead of us, there was,
and ahead of us. Like it was a string of cars that just parked on the side of the road to the right side, and people were just getting out of the car. Like everyone was standing and looking up, and granted we were young, so I mean we just looked out the window because
no, you and
Hannah.
everyone in the car was trying to get out of the car, but me. I was hiding underneath the seat. I'm like, let's go. Why are we here right now? Drive. Stop looking at this thing. Let's go home.
But
And They decided to all look out. You have my cousin's head popping out of the car.
I was trying to grab the kids to get in the car.
No,
but
no.
I was
we
just
were-
like,
the whole debacle was who wanted to leave and who wanted to stay. I think for me personally, being how humans are, we see something that we've never seen before. You're like a deer in headlights. You just don't move. You just want to look at it.
it was
So-
it was huge,
It was,
huge. It was not,
yeah.
And now, when you first saw it, what made you get
like,
to the point to think it was something unusual? Was it because other cars were stopped?
no, because
It started moving towards us.
and it was
It
above
was
us.
silent and slow, and it was above us, but it wasn't like so far above. Like, what is that? You could clearly see what it was. Like, it was
A triangle.
a triangle. It had rounded sides, and it moved slow, very slow. It stayed still, and pretty much, I remember seeing a light right in the middle of the triangle, and it looked like either metal parts were connecting it, or it looked like hieroglyphic,
Yeah.
underneath it, because you could see like the
So there's lines writing some type of
something,
design.
yeah, underneath it, and the light in the middle. So it was.
Now, as it flew, is it flying with the point facing forward, or did it really matter which
Point.
way?
The point
Point.
that,
Yeah,
yeah,
So
it was,
there was one of the points of the triangle
Yes.
was the leading edge.
yeah.
yes.
I would have to say probably the thing that really struck my eye to at first was initially the speed.
I thought the sheer size of the thing was
Being being an adult now, estimating speed, it was going probably about, for that large of a object, it was going about 15, 20 miles. It was going really slow for something that large. Because most commercial aircraft, well, first off, commercial aircraft is way up in the air. This thing was probably about maybe 100, 200 yards. I would say, what, 200 yards?
I don't know, like if we put it in.
Like 5-10 times the height of a tree. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
about so. Yeah, it was
huge.
it was not that high in the air. I mean, it was not
Like-
that far above us.
Two like pine trees stacked on top of each other, if that makes sense. I would.
And
Yeah.
typically when you have, like, there was a sighting in New Jersey or New Jersey looking back toward New York, I think. And there were a lot of people that got out, and it went viral. This was several years ago. It ended up being a blimp. But you saw writing on it that is not English. You saw it was a shape of a triangle, which is not a blimp.
Yeah.
And it was a solid triangle,
It
not
was, yeah, and it moved slow.
There was
And
And was it just the one light underneath?
yeah, I would say so. I mean, because we all got. I mean, I'll tell you about when we got home, but pretty much like it was going over us, and I'm sitting here underneath the car seat. I'm like, Mom, let's go. It's moving, and it eventually moves like over to the left side, so it's like on the right side by the mountain, and then it starts moving up, and then it just slowly
turned.
turned.
It slowly turned like this, and then gone.
Up in the air.
All the sides symmetrical.
Yes,
I would say
In other words, I'm trying, like you said, a little bit rounded. So I'm trying to think, like, the Ouija board thing that moves around.
Yeah.
How it's kind of
Yeah.
trying. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say
I
that
would- a little-
shape adds up. Yeah, I don't like that. But for me, more like the thing that you don't really hear about is most people are I was just confused, or I was so like starstruck by it. For me, I think once my mind started trying to put together what I'm looking at, my mind was more driven by fear. You know?
yeah, it's terrifying.
It wasn't something that I was excited to see. It wasn't like I finally see what everyone's talking about. It was more I was pretty terrified of what I was looking at, because I mean
The people that were pulled to the side of the road, did you communicate with them at all?
They
No.
were like, "What is that?" And everyone's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Let's just go. Like, let's just drive, guys."
Everyone was
And,
pretty, like you could hear,
like,
the
what is that?
you can hear like the mass confusion about throughout everyone. Everyone was kind of yelling, "What is that?" You could hear like, "Oh my god!" You could hear a bunch of commotion. Like people were definitely worried about what they were looking at. Some people I did see, some people were recording. I don't know how good their quality was, but for something that
Well,
was
this was 2007, so it
yeah,
wouldn't
I
have
mean,
been.
terrible quality. One thing I did also point out was usually when it's a dark object in the sky at night, for the most part, it's pretty hard to tell what it is. But this thing, I would say, had an unusual dark color to it. It was very unusual. Like it almost looked um,
I would say
like a
matte.
dark steel.
like it was.
Yeah,
it
a
was,
dark matte steel.
It was like
yeah,
a
dark matte steel.
for the most part, it was more of like a color suppression. You know, it was like something so dark that everything around it sticks out, like amplifies. So like you could see everything, you could see the stars behind it and everything, but
There was a clear night.
it was a
It didn't blend in with the blue of the night, so to speak.
no.
No.
Yeah, and then it was just the other eerie thing about it was when it did go overhead, there was no noise.
None.
Not a single. You couldn't hear anything. Like
No wind.
no engine, no nothing.
That
usually.
yeah, that's I think the part that gave me like the most goosebumps because it's like normally you see airplanes, helicopters, something they have a lot of noise to them. This was silent.
What I was just looking up was the Phoenix lights were in 97, and there were some triangular shapes
Mhm.
there they talked about as well. So I was just trying to figure out
Mhm.
time frames and that type of thing. So.
Well, we've tried to. I mean, there's been a few times I've seen it because all three of us now, like, kind of, it becomes a little obsessive. Like, what did I see?
Now, a couple questions here, and I'll let you answer both at the same. How long did it last, and how did the encounter, the experience end?
Probably about
5-10
yeah,
minutes.
5 to 10 minutes.
I would say it's approximately 5-10 minutes.
Yeah,
It was gone.
like it. You know, after it went to the other side, it starts going up, and then out of nowhere, it just goes like
yeah,
up, direct.
It definitely
like up.
came to it came like almost to a halt, and usually when that happens, that's I mean, it was just a sudden stop that was just so eerie because not even helicopters stop on a dime. You know, I mean, usually helicopters come to a crawl and then they'll move when they're kind of in space. This thing just like almost like immediately like stopped in its tracks, and it just went straight out like in a high rate of speed.
It was gone like
Just
a split second.
You know, I mean, it was real fast.
when it lifted, when it took off up, did the light get smaller, or did you notice anything with the light? Did it go and then get real bright and disappear?
No, it just went dark after it went straight back up, from what I can remember at least. And
As far as where you were on the highway, where was what community, I guess I would say, that it would be over top of?
It
like
would be in between Guatai and
Descanso.
Descanso.
Descanso to Guatai. The
To give
old
it-
Highway 80.
To
and
give the
that
whole area of the event itself, like the mass, wherever like the location, it would be an area between Viejas Casino and Guatai. So it'd be like what she said, Descanso area.
yeah, and I'm
I'm gonna get you to speak a little bit louder as you talk.
Hey.
Okay? And I'll get right back to you. Based on your best memory here,
Mhm.
how big would you say the object was? You can compare it to a city bus, a cruise
Bigger.
ship, whatever.
Bigger.
For size, let's see.
I think it was like half the size of a football field. Probably smaller than that. Half. But
half
it-
the
it-
size- was-
But it was.
A little bit smaller than a baseball field, like a little league baseball field.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good-
that's about correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
baseball
it
field
was-
pretty spot on.
It was
a little bit.
huge.
Yeah.
That would give us the triangular shape for us to visualize it.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
It was
Yeah,
huge.
definitely baseball field sized object for sure.
We got home, and
Oh yeah.
when we got home, I was still like thinking in my mind, what just happened? So I went and I got pieces of paper and I got pens, and I put all the kids in a separate room. I said, just draw what you saw. I'm not going to say anything. You know, we're not going to discuss it right now. And then all three of them drew the same thing. So, like, yeah, that's what I saw too.
Now, you two were still somewhat small at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like,
You crying?
No, I didn't cry. I think
You said you were scared, so I was just curious.
yeah, no, I was scared and I wanted to leave. I don't know why everyone wanted to sit, stop, stare. I'm like, let's go. And everyone wanted to I was terrified. But
I think I was frozen. I was honestly frozen, just trying to make sense of it.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, just being paused in a position of you're just so scared that you just can't move, can't cry, can't make a noise, can't scream, nothing. You're just there.
Did you tell anybody else about this at that time?
Yes, my
Yeah.
my
yeah,
mother
for
was
sure.
where we got, so she was the first one. She was the first one we told.
Yeah.
yeah, she was calling. She's like, "Did you get the milk?" And we're like, "Nobody cares about your stupid milk. We just saw a UFO." And she's like, "Don't call my milk stupid." We were upset because we were like, "This life-changing event just happened, and you're concerned about if we brought the milk home." So yeah, we told her. She saw all the drawings. She was just kind of confused at that. She was like, "Trace, I don't know what's going on." Like, but then she showed her the photos that we all drew, and
She believes us now.
yeah.
I mean, she believes us now.
Did
I think she believed us then too. I think she was just going, "What?"
anybody else other than family members that you spoke with?
Oh yeah, I've spoke to everybody at work.
Yeah.
I was like, that's when they're like, you would not believe what happened on our way home last night. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're so lucky." I'm like, no,
No.
no,
Yeah.
it's not luck to see one. It's terrifying.
I've told very, very few people. To be honest, it's because I didn't want anyone to think I was crazy or odd or, labeled me as a storyteller. So very few people in my group, like of friends and family, besides here, obviously. I really haven't told many people.
You told everyone in the hospital.
Yeah, that
After you got off medication.
I was on medication at that time. I was in surgery, but I mean, for the most part, in layman's terms, like I didn't tell many people just because I didn't want people to think I was crazy or anything like that. So usually when someone does bring it up, I think about it a good bit. Like if someone is interested about the topic or something like that, I don't say, oh well, I saw something, so here. I usually just like to keep the conversation at that point and just continue going. But very, very, almost never do I utilize my personal experience for a conversation like that. Just because, it's like really less than 1 in a million chance, in my opinion.
Do you guys find yourself like looking on TV and on the computers?
Oh yeah, I know I did after that.
Yeah, most definitely.
I still do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To this day, I'll like look up. I'll describe everything I see. I did a good amount of research on my own. Looked up like things like aurora.
The triangles.
Like I was trying to write it off as saying it could be military aircraft
Yeah.
that's experimental. Could be anything.
But you're in the military.
think-
Do we have anything like that?
I don't know.
You don't know.
But for the most part, I think
I
if
don't
there
think it was
was
military.
something there that wasn't military or even from Earth itself, I think that's what makes it even more terrifying to that extent, knowing that you're about 200, maybe 200 meters away from something that
Yeah.
you have no idea where it comes from, no idea what it is,
Yeah.
no idea what its intentions are,
Yeah.
not knowing how dangerous it is. I think that is one of the more scary parts of the whole encounter itself, is not knowing what's inside of it.
Now, they may be too young to remember because honestly, young people don't watch the news. Do you remember anything in the newspaper, anything on the
Oh,
station?
wait. Hold on. You called 911 after.
Yeah.
She called 911. She called 911 and she goes, "We just saw a UFO." And the lady said, "Call when you have a real emergency." Call when you have a real emergency?
That's about right. That's about right. That's a fair response.
No. That was a real emergency. Like, 100%.
What do you want them to do?
I don't know.
Track it down?
I don't know. At least put a police report in there so it's documented.
Your
Like,
call, what would you say?
yeah, you would just leave, wouldn't you?
What do you want me to document?
The encounter, like, we saw a UFO on around this area.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, CW, like,
But typically, what comes up from that? Have you been drinking? Have you been on hallucinogenics? You know.
Yeah, like, is everything okay? You okay? Is there anything you need? Do you need medical services instead? Maybe. You know, but
And look, I honestly asked that questions of my interviews, but I've got 3 people collaborating on a story, so there's no reason to ask. Have you been on mushrooms lately? Because that means all 3 of you would have had to see the same experience, right? Be on the same trip. So nothing really on the news reports.
No. And I don't know if yeah, the military thing, coming from San Diego,
being so close to Camp Pendleton and stuff, you'd think.
and of course our harbor, the naval, but I've seen a billion planes, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is I saw, but I definitely saw it.
So that night you had them kind of draw what they.
Yes, I put them in separate rooms.
What was your feelings being at home at that point? I guess what I'm trying to find out is, did you have the feeling of like after somebody's broken into your house that I'm no longer safe, or were you just trying to put it together? Or?
I was just more trying to put it together. Just like, yeah.
yeah, I definitely had a feeling of like end of the world. You know, I thought this is it. You know,
It's starting.
it's almost like a weird way of having your life flash before your eyes. You know what I mean? Like, it was just so out of the ordinary that it just terrifies you to a point where you think like it's the end of the world, because everyone talks about it when you're a young kid. Everyone talks about, invasions and stuff like that, and
I
so when
think
you
it's
finally
because
see
you guys
it,
were so young.
it's just you immediately think it's the end of the world, and
Yeah, I'm gonna follow back up on that in just a second, only because she told me a little bit of something about she was having it, because I think that may lead back to this.
Oh.
You said you had
A nightmare. I had a nightmare.
So tell us about the nightmare real quick.
Yeah, so after that situation, going up to the mountains, some time passed and we were back at our grandparents' house. And I had a dream that it was crazy because in the dream, like, everything in the room was positioned correct. Okay, so there's my window, and this is the window looking out. That's my bed. I had a dream, a bright white light came through the window where I was in bed, and the next thing I remember, I was in a red room. In a red room, and it had like a dentist office would have right here, and there was aliens. I'm gonna say aliens. I don't know. It was a bad dream.
How many beings?
I don't know. It was. I just know they were surrounding me, and I don't remember feeling afraid. I think that they were like, I don't know. The sentiment I got from it was like I'm gonna go home. Like I'm gonna go home. Like, and
All
the
right,
next thing.
So you're going to go home. Are you thinking I'm going to go home as in you're home, or I'm going to go home as in that the aliens are taking me home?
Like they're gonna take, like it's gonna be okay because their intentions are not to hurt me, is what my dream was. And next thing you know, I'm out of the red room and there's light again, and I woke up in my bed. And it's just crazy because I'm like, when I had the dream, the bright white light went through the window, and I don't remember anything besides just being in that red room surrounded with like a dental tray kind of thing. And next thing I know, I'm woken up in the same spot that I had the dream about. And so, yeah, probably trauma. I was probably traumatized, and I just had a nightmare about that. But it's just crazy because that nightmare still sticks with me today. Like, it's just, I could still remember it. I still remember the feelings I felt in that dream. And I'm like, I've been afraid. I'm like, maybe I'm on their radar now, but no, I'm like, I don't know.
All right, so can you describe the figures, the aliens?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is my own brain putting a shape to something, in a dream, but it was like hairless, humanoid, like hairless. Didn't get to see any faces. It was all shadowed in the dream. Like it was just the outline, really, and everything else was shadowed. And
How tall would you say they were?
well, I was laying down. The dental tray was about this high, so I guess. Mind it, this is a dream. This is hard to.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But how long after? When did you have this dream? How long after the experience with the UFO?
Months after. This was months
Okay.
after.
But not years and years. Just...
No, this was months after, and I don't know. It was just.
Trauma.
It was intense. It was traumatizing. That was a nightmare for me. I very rarely have reoccurring nightmares, but that was just one that I remember having. So,
And
yeah.
Did you have anything similar to that?
Well, I had a different point of view. I no longer viewed extraterrestrials as things I would want to get to know, but some that scares me like that, and some that has that type of capability or whatever. I just grew up thinking, we gotta kill them.
CW.
That's the truth. I mean, something like that. But no, you don't know the intention or not. That's always been my mindset is I'd rather kill them than
Try to
You got
understand
into
them.
protective mode with it.
something that makes me think that the world's ending.
Maybe that's your trauma from the war.
I don't want that. I don't want that around.
Now, when you said you've researched this, obviously, because you're more interested in it now.
Yeah.
After that experience.
Mhm.
What you all describe has been described many times, a triangular type craft.
Mhm.
What happened when you first saw somebody report something that was similar to? I mean, what is your mind process there?
It validated
Validated.
what I thought.
Yeah, like
I didn't want to be someone who jumps on a bandwagon and say, oh, this is it. This is what I saw right here. I didn't want to bandwagon. In my head, I said that 100% solidifies what I saw. So from there, pretty much, the legwork was done with learning, what I'm looking at. Just going down the rabbit hole, really, of finding out what it is, where it comes from. Just going from, like I said earlier, like thinking it was like an Aurora project, that thing that they talked about long ago. Could be that, like my head was just at that mode, understanding that what I saw is true, and from there deciding what it is or where it comes from mainly.
See how I want to word this. Lots of times, people that have had experiences are. There's also reports of government Men in Black type stuff you hear about. Have you ever felt like you've been followed, tracked, whether it be otherworldly or our own people?
No.
No, not for the most part. Just I don't think many people even know about. If there was an agency that does something to that extent, I don't think they'd be able to even identify who we were, because we were so far on the mountain, like so far in the wood line on this road that no
Doesn't
lights
have
were on.
street lights.
Yeah, no street lights. So for the most part, no, I don't think well, me personally, I don't know about everyone else, but for me, I don't think anyone's following me.
Have you had any other types of experiences since then that just made you think, could that have been with that type of stuff? Or
What?
The Navajo Nation thing.
The Navajo Nation, yeah. You have to have Nana here.
Yeah, Nana would have to be here to corroborate with what you're saying.
But we're talking about the triangle. I don't think I'd want to see it again.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay if I go through life and I don't see that again. But
How about you?
Probably.
You would want to see it again?
just to make sure.
just to learn more about it, or to validate it even further?
I think it's just human curiosity, really.
So
It's
you-
almost like like an animal. You see an animal one time, you won't see it again if it's really interesting. It's just, for me, I think it's just human curiosity. That's all.
I don't want to see it again.
Anything else y'all would like to add?
No. Just, I believe other people when they say they've seen it.
I've
never met anybody in my life who's seen something like that.
I think looking back on it, it would have been, there's things now that I would like to have on me beforehand. Before it's like maybe a phone, something to document it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess, but
something
More
to
than a drawing when you get back to
Yeah.
the house.
Yeah.
better, I guess, equipment to see what, like, from phones to, I don't know, microphone. I mean, anything. I know it's hindsight, but looking back on it, there was things that I wish I had now, that I have now, that would have been better for the situation, for better documentation and better.
But there is documentation of other people. And we have seen the same one that we've seen.
I think it's just for me. I mean,
Yeah.
looking back on it, like, it would have been nice to be able to have better documentation and.
Instead of having to rely on memory.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's it's also good to be able to have external sources of other people that have the same encounter, so you can kind of say, okay, well, if you're correct on, that adds up to everything I saw. So like someone's not lying, someone's not making it up. Like what they saw is the same thing you saw. But going back, I definitely wish there was things that I had on me that could put me in a better position in this situation.
And I'm gonna step back for one more question too. When you saw the object, anything electronic issues like the radio staticky, anything that y'all remember regarding that?
No,
I can't remember anything.
I don't even think the radio was on because we were so far up in the mountain and
It's all
you don't even
static
get
there
cell
anyway.
service right there. It's like, it's just,
So it's just naturally
Yeah.
bad electronics there anyway.
Yeah.
yeah,
But car didn't cut off, lights didn't flicker, that type of stuff.
no.
No, I just walked away from that. Just
I'm gonna push on the time a little bit more as well. We know it's night and it was winter, so night
Yeah.
falls early. 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
it gets dark. Were we in the blue hour? Were we
Right.
dark?
We were exiting blue hour going into dark.
yeah.
Because I do remember being
So
on
a
the
6:30ish time, more than likely.
probably.
Probably like 6:37. Yeah.
Because when we left,
See the
it
glow
was-
from the city yet, or
Oh, there was
No, there's no
city.
no in
Nothing.
mountains like
Okay.
There's no
mountains.
so
nowhere.
you wouldn't have the sunset glow over the horizon or anything at that point anyway, because you're in the
No, it's about 40, no, yeah, about 45 minutes from San Diego. So, and San Diego has like mountain range, and so we're up there.
Yeah, there were no city lights. I do remember being on the freeway, blue. By the time we got off the freeway, hooked left, going down the road towards Guatai, it was definitely hitting black at that hour.
Yeah.
remember any airplanes or anything like that.
Usually.
known aircraft approached the area after it left.
Well, here's
There was a helicopter that came.
here's a detail I've kind of picked up on years later. Was usually when we're there, we'll see 2 or 3 airplanes that are usually flying out there. We'll see there's a decent sized air traffic going around out there. But this time around, there was nothing. We saw. I couldn't recollect seeing anything.
And now, devil's advocate here, could that have been because you were so focused on the object that you saw, you didn't pay attention to anything else?
Possibly, but driving home, I do remember looking out the window and not seeing any planes, not seeing any.
And that would be a natural response because you just saw something, you want to see if you see something else. So
Yeah.
okay, I can see that.
There was no other planes or anything, so I did find that odd, unusual for the most part for that area, that there was no aircraft. Nothing else, I'd say.
I mean, well, you can see airplanes there, but they're pretty high. But there is a small airport that is El Cajon, which is about 20 minutes away. But there was no lights. There was
Anything else?
It was scary.
I appreciate y'all coming in from the interview.
I have no problem.
And so let me get these off. Thank you again.